In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, we'd like to show you some advanced techniques for working with motion tracking when it comes to titles. Motion tracking has just changed in PowerDirector 365, and we have a prior tutorial showing you some of the basic features about it. Here we're going to show you how to tweak the results if they're not quite what you want. So let's look a little bit at that. So what I have is this video with two titles, and now these are not motion tracked. The camera's moving and they're kind of staying with it, but this isn't exactly what we want. So I'm going to stop it, and we'll go back to the first title here, which is Use a Life Jacket. And I'll press the home key here. And what we want to do is we want this to follow the boat. So to use motion tracking again, we simply highlight the title, click on the edit button, and now we have the tracking available. Again, this is only available for titles that are not complex. It means they must have no particle. There must not be multiple titles in the same title, multiple lines of text. But this is simple, so it will work. So if I click on tracking, I'm going to look at a couple of options, and I'm going to apply motion tracking. And right now I'm only going to do the distance from the object and not the size. So I won't change the size of the text. And right now I've created a box that's as big as this boat. All I need to do is click on track, and then it will track the object. And with a pop-up screen, it'll give me a progress, and then we go on. I'll pause the video. So it's done its work, so let's play this and see how well it did. It is following the boat. There is a bit of jerkiness in the process. It moves closer to the boat and then a little bit farther away. So it's not exactly what we were hoping for. Let's try something else. I'm going to stop this. And in order to retrack it with a different size tracking object, I have to actually turn it off. So I'm going to click on the little eye, click on motion tracking, turn it off. Now I'm going to turn it back on. And the only thing I'll change this time is the size of the object I'm tracking. So I'm going to go back to the first frame. And we'll just pick the very dark colors here that represent the gentleman. So I've changed the size of the tracking object only. And I'll click on track again. And when that's done, we'll show you the results. So it's done its tracking a second time. Let's play this and you can see the difference. Much more unwanted motion. So here's a rule of thumb to use. When you're trying to track an object in the video, pick the biggest thing you can on the screen, because this is much worse when we picked a small object as opposed to a larger object. So the largest object you can pick will smooth it out. But there's something else we're going to look at too. I'm going to again click on that track and click on motion tracking. And I'm going to turn it off so we can redo this again. I'm going to apply it a third time. We'll track it. But this time we're also going to add adjust size with tracked object. So basically this will change the proportion of the text. As the boat goes away from the camera, it gets smaller. As it moves forward toward the camera, it will get larger. And let's see if this makes a difference in terms of how it looks once we're tracked it. For a third time, we'll click on tracking, and then we'll share the results with you in a moment. Okay, let's play this and see what difference it makes here. To my eyes, it seems a little better, especially when the boat moves not left to right, but away from the camera. It seems a little less jerky than it was before, but still it's not perfect. But those are some tips on helping you adjust it slightly so it appears a little more natural. Now, if you want to tweak it, there are two other tips that we can give you. Tip number 3 deals with using the tracking and editing the results. So what we're going to do is, with this click, we're going to click on the Advanced button on our title. You notice you have in position and scale these two yellow bars, but they're not yellow bars. They are all keyframes. What the tracker does, it sets a keyframe for every single frame in your project. And if you find a spot that's really bad, you can actually remove the frame so the distance between the tracking marks is larger. So if I enlarge it like this, I can right-click on this one, for example, and remove that keyframe. And I can right-click on this one and remove this keyframe. Now, obviously, this is a tedious process. If you have especially 30 frames per second, this could take a long time. But it's an option you have if you want to do some tweaking where it's going back and forth. Well, you just take out the place between one frame and another, and it doesn't move the keyframe at all. It's more fluid. I'll click on OK to save that. We won't notice a difference because it's only one frame. But there's another option that you have. And I'm going to click on my motion tracking again. And this time what I want to do is turn it off completely. That will erase all the keyframes. Now what I'm going to do is click on my title, and I'll click on Advanced. And now what I want to do is I want to mimic using motion tracking without using motion tracking. So I'm going to go to the beginning of my area here, and let's take it, make it this size. And I'm not going to work on scale, I'll just work on position. So I want it behind the boat, right about there. And so I'm going to set a position value. I click the diamond, and it sets a position value. Now I'm going to go halfway through. I like the 50% rule, and set one there. And then I'll split this area roughly in half as well. Move here. It sets a keyframe. The second I move the title object over here, get the distance about what I want. And again, I'm just using the 50% rule to, I think I need to make this a little bigger up here. That's easier. And so I keep the distance about what I want using this kind of rule. Split the difference using much fewer keyframes. So it should be hopefully a little more fluid when we're done. I'll stop there and let's just play this first half of it, see what it looks like. Now I think part of that jerk there was that the camera was not steady. The camera itself was jerking. And so that made it a little more complicated. But what you see from this example is sometimes it works best not to use the motion tracker because you can do as good or better by simply keyframing your object. So I hope that's helpful if you want to tweak that. Let me give you one other tip. I'm going to click on OK here. And that is, I'll use this with a completely different title. I'm going to go to my title room and go to my custom titles. I have this one here. I'll drag down and put on a higher track. Now this is a complex title. It has two parts, make some waves and every weekend. So if I try to use the edit on it, I click on the edit button, you're going to notice that tracking is off. That's because it's complex. It has two parts. So what I can do though is I can take the advanced and I can keyframe these identically. So if I want these to start out with, let's take position on every weekend. Move my playhead to the beginning. Set a position value. And I also go to make some waves, set a position value. Okay, then I'm going to take this and move this down. Oh, shouldn't do that there. I need to move my playhead first. I'll move over here and I'll move this down. I'm going to click on the every weekend and move that down. I could be chasing the boat here, but I'm not going to do it. Just want to show you the principle. So now if I play this, you can move them both. In this case, I would normally be moving them following an object, but they're moving together because you keyframed each of them at the same starting point and the same ending point, so you have a smooth movement. So that's another way in which you can mimic motion tracking without using motion tracking at all and still have a decent result.